Why is the age of 20 said to be the age of broken dreams? What was your childhood dream? Perhaps back then, when someone asked about your dream, you told the whole world you wanted to be a talented artist, a great doctor healing the poor, or a brave police officer protecting the weak. Or perhaps, more dreamily, you wanted to be a princess or a hero from the movies. Those were the dreams of yesterday. But what about now? What is your dream? Hearing that question, I paused for a few seconds, then took a long time to think about what I truly wanted to do. The Canadian writer Doug Coupland once said, "By 20, you know you're not going to be a rock star. By 25, you know you're not going to be an expert on anything. By 30, a darkness starts to collect. You ask yourself if you'll ever be truly satisfied with this life." Not to mention wealth or success, you and I, and perhaps many others, seem to be floundering, stuck in our jobs, struggling to find ourselves, standing at a confusing crossroads, unsure of where to go or what to do. The 20s is a boulevard of broken dreams. People one by one bid farewell to their childhood aspirations. They face endless confusion about life and the future. In popular psychology, this is known as the quarter-life crisis, similar to a midlife crisis. According to clinical psychologist Alex Falk, this natural crisis period is filled with insecure thoughts, disillusionment, doubt, and disappointment when your career isn't going anywhere, relationships are fragile and vague, and your financial situation is unstable. Those caught in this crisis don't know what they should do, who they will become, dare not dream, and are afraid to step out of their comfort zone. They feel desperate for not having the same starting point as others, feel inferior, and think they will never be as good as anyone else. Everything is a mess, a helpless feeling that makes one want to cry when looking at the responsibilities they must bear, and suddenly feeling very lonely and desperate. The causes of this 20s crisis stem from many aspects: financial issues, pressure from society, family, work, friends, and love. In their 20s, young people begin to mature and step into the world. They start thinking about their careers, trying new jobs, living independently for the first time, and learning to face everything alone. These experiences often lead to feelings of isolation and loneliness. Young people today are facing the 20s crisis worse than ever, and if not recognized quickly, the consequences will be severe. According to a UNICEF study, about 8 to 29% of adolescents in Vietnam suffer from mental health issues. It is estimated that at least 3 million teenagers in Vietnam are experiencing psychological problems. In reality, the quarter-life crisis doesn't necessarily occur at exactly 1/4 of one's life, but rather during the period of emerging adulthood. In the 4 stages of life model, everyone's life goes through 4 stages: imitation, self-exploration, commitment, and legacy. If, in stage 1, children are born completely dependent on their caregivers and must observe and copy the actions and gestures of others to blend into their surrounding community, then moving into stage 2, these young people begin to search for their own self, creating unique and creative identities distinct from the community. This is also when young people fall into crisis. Within this crisis stage, there are also 4 smaller phases. Phase 1, this is when you feel insecure and stuck, as rational binds make you unsure whether to let go or keep holding on. Moving into Phase 2, you begin to question yourself about future plans, new things, and your own feelings about what you see in life. At this point, you will constantly struggle with a storm of emotions, pressure from yourself, family, and social relationships. Phase 3 will mark a turning point as you gradually find the calm to face what you have experienced, are experiencing, and will experience. This is perhaps the most magical stage because everything from work, career, and love seems to be forming quite clearly in your mind. And if the previous 3 stages were for experiences and intentions, then Phase 4 is where you act on your passions, future plans, and independent life. Everything will gradually fall into the trajectory you desire. Understanding these stages will help you know what to do when you fall into a quarter-life crisis. First, accept this crisis as inevitable. My listing of the stages and subphases within the crisis is to help you realize that a quarter-life crisis is completely normal. Everyone in the world, even the most successful people, has gone through this difficult period. A solution to help you feel less alone is to share your struggles with someone you trust, so both you and they know that you are not the only one lost. Even if you don't find your path immediately after, at least this exchange helps everyone feel more empathy, knowing they are not the only odd one out in the adult world. However, don't just stop at thinking, "Oh, so that's how it is," and then sigh and ignore life. Go find the answer to the question, so, where does the real problem lie? Perhaps you need to try something new. Say yes. Changing your living environment, moving to a different city might be a lifeline. In the personal growth model comfort zone, fear zone, learning zone, growth zone, young people in the quarter-life phase are stuck in their comfort zone and tend to want to move out. However, what we immediately face is the fear zone, the fears and challenges of life, and sometimes those you set for yourself. But do you see that straight arrow? If you continue to be brave and dare to step forward, you will overcome the fear zone and move into the learning zone, acquiring new skills, applying them, and solving long-standing problems. Finally, you will boldly step into the growth zone, the ultimate destination, when you have found your ideals, dreams, and goals. Another thing to note is that you should not compare yourself to others. Although comparison can motivate you to try harder, any form of comparison is flawed, except for comparing your current self to your past self. There's nothing more disheartening than seeing peers or younger individuals achieve resounding success while you feel stuck. But remember, everyone has their own timing. Some hit their stride very early, achieving brilliant success at an age everyone envies. Others must go through a youth full of hardship and struggle to reach the pinnacle of their careers. As long as you keep striving, your time will come. Furthermore, your expectations should be realistic, because if you keep trying to take on impossible goals, you will only sink deeper into crisis in the future. During this period, you might have to spend most of your time alone. It might seem terrible, but this will be a way to sharpen your emotional intelligence. You will learn how to control different emotions to stay balanced and let negative feelings pass. You will feel like you understand yourself better than anyone. Everyone struggles during this phase. After overcoming the quarter-life crisis, you still have quite a few other crises waiting. Accept the reality that you won't always succeed on the first try, or even many tries after that. All achievements require persistent effort. Allow yourself time to experience and grow with the mistakes you make, so that with each subsequent attempt, you can get closer to the best version of yourself. Don't die in your 20s.